Aloha, guys. Welcome to the Lokomai Life. And the bird is saying, welcome to the Lokomai Life also. Hey, gang, going into our missing persons, or also known as missing Mondays. It just depends what day of the week I actually get to this. And also, just wanted to real quickly welcome all you guys who are joining us. And sorry, I got a dog who wants to play games right now. Because, of course, if mom is live, that means it's time for people to get, treats. So welcome. And I got a story that's been out for almost 2 months now. And as we started, I just wanted everyone for a few minutes, just go back in your head to those years when you were in college, just out of high school. You know, those years when you're thinking to yourself that nothing can happen to you. You're good. You go walking anywhere you want. You don't worry about much of anything because you know what? You got your whole life ahead of you. And, you know, we just get this feeling that nothing can actually hurt us because you know what? The world watches out for us as we're children. And then we get into college and you know what? We're starting to live our lives a little bit more, okay, and being a little bit more independent, but you know what? There's still so much there at college being watched over. You got cameras, you've got friends, you've got dorm people, you got all these things. So tonight I wanted to go over the story of someone who recently disappeared almost 2 months ago, who was in that type of situation during those years. So I wanted to introduce all of you tonight to Brendan. Aloha and welcome to the Lokomai Life. Yeah, Brendan Santo was an 18-year-old who went missing, 2 days before Halloween. So time of year, all of us that when we were back in those 20-year-olds, late teens, early 20s, those were the fun times of the year. Forget Christmas and all that. It's the Halloween parties and the football games and all these other things. So Brendan was in that position. He had just graduated from high school. He had been accepted into college and was going to the Grand Valley State University at the time. Let me pull these up so you guys can actually see. So he was actually going to university at the time, and his plan at that time was to actually go into computers. He wanted to do computer surveillance. He had his plans on what he wanted to do. He was enjoying life. He was playing sports. He knew he was what really excited him. And he had lots of friends. And the more I read about him, the more I realized this guy had a zeal for life. He has a zeal for life because you know what? Right now, we're trying to find him. We're trying to bring him home, okay? We're coming up on Christmas. This is that time of miracles, and his family is looking for that miracle. And I'm hoping you guys can help us out with that miracle. So he was going to the Grand Valley State University, which was in Michigan. And right before Halloween, he decided to go with some friends and meet up at Michigan State University, also known as MSU for anyone who's ever been there or knows anything about them. So MSU that weekend was having all of their big Halloween parties, but even more importantly, they were having their big rivalry. Okay, everyone hears about the rivalries that colleges have. Well, their big rivalry, their big football game was Michigan State University against the University of Michigan. And that game was going on that day. Hey, now, Belle, welcome, my dear. Sorry, I forgot to even say hi to those of you in chat. Now, I love you. Thank you. You know what I'm talking about. You really do know what I'm talking about. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. And so Brendan actually had gone over to stay with his friends for the weekend over at MSU. While he was there, he was doing the normal partying, hanging out with friends, going to visit other friends and all that. And During that time, sometime before midnight, right before midnight, he was seen leaving one of the dorm areas. That dorm was called Yackley Hall. Now, I've got a map up here just to give you guys a little bit of an idea. The place that we're going to be talking about tonight all takes place in a very small area. Okay, he left Yackley Hall and was supposedly, everyone thought, going to Brody Hall. Okay, which also known as the Brody neighborhood, basically another group of dorms. And that was no more than a 15-minute walk. I mean, actually probably half that, as you can kind of see there. Okay, Yackley Hall is over on the east side of that map, and Brody Hall the west side, for if you're looking at the map right now. And the idea was he was going to take, there's two routes you could take. He was taking that more northerly route. Now, I'm not sure if that's actually northerly, but on the map, northerly. So he started heading towards that area, was going to head over to meet up with some friends over at Brody Hall. And around 11 p.m., he started communicating with friends that something was, he got lost. He did not know this college. Most of you guys, if you've ever been to these large universities, they are easy to get lost in. You can quickly take the wrong turn. It also seems like this area itself, and I'll be sharing some pictures, has a lot of little pockets of wilderness. Okay, there's a river that runs through the area. The river itself can be fairly deep. It runs pretty quick, things along those lines. So around 11 p.m., he actually sent a message to one of his friends. At that time, he said he was lost. It was a Snapchat. I'm lost. I can't find myself. I can't figure out where I am. He was then last heard at 11:45 p.m. Hey, Robbie, how you doing, my dear? Love ya. At 11:45 was the last time he was heard from. His phone last pinged at Beale Street and East Michigan Avenue. So going back to that one slide here, if you see the red area, that's the area where he was last pinged. So it's not that far. The amount of time that he took to get that far, okay, and kind of got lost around the way. He was on the corner of some of those streets there, so not too far from where he started off. During that time, there was some communication with friends. There was questions, okay, did the phone itself die? Did the phone get turned off? Things like that. Police were able to figure out later on that no, the phone actually died of no battery. Many of us had probably been in that same position where you're lost and you realize your phone's dying pretty quickly. That's probably what was going through him at that time. So as you can see from these pictures here, the area he was going through was definitely very wooded. Okay, you're on the road itself, but it could be very easily, you can kind of wander off into some of these ravines with the river itself there. So there's a lot of different thoughts, and we're not going to get into all the things, okay, what could have happened, because anything could have happened. Okay, and our focus here is not looking at the anythings right now. It's looking at what can we do to get his name, his picture out, and try to connect his family with the right people, law enforcement with the right people. So his friends, night went through, okay, as most of us college students would be doing at that time. We're thinking, okay, maybe they met up for friends. He got over to Brody Hall, so nothing was going on. But the next morning came, and they could not find him anywhere. He didn't look like he'd been at home. No one, hello, Siren. How you doing, my dear? And he wasn't there getting ready. They had Halloween, the big game was going on, and he was not getting ready. He was nowhere to be found. So at that point, they made the decision we needed to contact the police. And they did exactly that at that time. So police were contacted real quickly, letting them know that no one had talked to Brendan since the night before, or just about midnight. So it definitely been a little while. Sorry, I've got a very loud puppy right now. And then as the word got back to the family, it was pretty easy for them to realize something was going on. Any of you who have children, you just know in your heart when something is not right. Brendan was not the type who would have gone and disappeared. He was not the type who would have gone running off and coming back in a couple days or things like that. He was excited about the whole weekend. He actually had gone on Friday, the day he disappeared, and bought himself a Halloween costume to wear on Halloween. And that costume was still in his car. So there was, family definitely knew something was wrong here. And police, I think, also got that feeling. And a task force was real quickly pulled together. The community at the university came together very quickly to try to get the word out about Brendan. Give you an idea of how quickly, hey, late for a date. How you doing, my dear? The task force itself ended up including the university police, the East Lansing Police Department, FBI were actually involved immediately on this, Grand Valley State Police, Ingham County Sheriff's Department, Michigan Attorney General, Michigan State Police, and the Oakland County Sheriff's Department. Those of you who know, anytime you get something going on, and hello, Robin, and you're having to pull together a task force, you've got a lot of different groups having to communicate and having to pull things together. And to cast that wide of something, they really came together and they really were communicating and trying to find their solution to what was going on. Because the thoughts initially are, if you look at the area, what you're looking at right now is actually some of the different search areas that they were looking at. There was the concern, could he have fallen into the river? Okay, well, that becomes a very dangerous thing quickly. We need to find him quickly. Could he have fallen, gotten hurt, and had amnesia? Things like that. Could it be something that was foul play? Police have, in their eyes, they have ruled out foul play. But we don't know. No one knows. Late for a date. And you know what? Michigan is so close to so many people. And one of the reasons why I always think these are important for all of us to look at is, what if someone did fall and have short-term or long-term amnesia? They could be in a different state right now. That's why it's so important for those of you who are in the area to know what to be looking for and who to be looking for. So some of the issues that, as you can see right here, they've been really looking, and there have been large groups of searches. Not only have you seen all those different groups pulled together, but there have been over 800 civilians, most of them college students, yes, and all pulling together to try to find Brendan, find out where he is, find out what they could to try to bring him home. So they started looking here. And one of the things I've noticed, initially they had started, if you look at the smaller dark picture there, just in the area between the Yaxley Hall area and Brody Hall where he was. But as time goes on, as most of you guys know, if you're dealing with water, things like that, okay, water moves. Things happen. So they've started moving the search area over. In the larger picture here, you will notice Brody is actually in that kind of up north area there on the top of the search area. So they've kind of changed where they're looking for him. Okay, the smaller area is the focused area looking for him. A lot of that's wilderness right there, looking for him within the wilderness. And they've been really, to this day, they've been out there searching routinely, trying to find him and bring him home. Now, one of the first things that happened when anyone disappears, what's the first thing all of us look for? Video footage. If you think about it, okay, it's the first thing everyone asks us. If there's any sort of crime, go to your cell phone. Did you have any pictures from that day? Okay, if you have a Ring system on your doorbell, go check that out, things like that. Well, they were hoping initially that there would be some really good information to go off of, because this is a college. And many of us, when we're in college, we're used to having cameras on every single corner, it seems. And it just so happened there was a camera right in front of Yaxley Hall, where he left from. So that could have given them an idea. Was he with someone at the time? Which direction did he go? Did he think he went one direction and went another direction? Unfortunately, when they went to request that camera footage, they found out that a large number of the cameras on the campus were not working. What had happened over the summer is the US government had banned a number of computer chips. These cameras had those computer chips in them. So the school made the decision to just turn off the cameras until they could take care of it. That was over the summer. Unfortunately, they had not been able to replace the cameras by October. So that has affected the search effort knowledge-wise. They don't have the information that hopefully they would have had. Some good news, the college has come out, university has come out and said that they would be installing 300 new cameras, which is wonderful for those of us who have children in college or ourselves been in college or something like that. That's great to know, because the security on universities is something a lot of us are always very concerned about, because so much can happen so quickly at a university level. So I'm very happy to hear that that is in the plans. So as I mentioned earlier, the police figured out pretty early on that the phone itself, that Brendan was on, actually did drain down to zero. So the question comes, whenever you know a phone's being used, was it turned off? No, it wasn't turned off. He was probably on the phone. He probably had Waze or something like that open, so he knew exactly where to go and where he was. And then he was Snapchatting with friends and texting with friends and stuff like that, trying to figure out where he was. And those things use major amounts of power, especially when you got a GPS on. We don't know. Was he on GPS? I don't know. I'm guessing. I'm just guessing based off of how most of us what we tend to do when we get lost. And so his phone did die. Now, do we know the circumstances around it dying? No. And that's, again, the reason why we don't want to get into all the speculation that tends to happen, because we don't know what happened. The police do. And I trust and believe in the police right now in this case, because they've been working. The family do believe in the police and what they've done. And if the family believes in them, that's good enough for me, because the family's the one that is the closest to this. And if they feel the police have this, and I think that probably is true, the police are probably sitting on a lot more information than what we have right now. And but they're sharing with us the information we need to be able to help get the information out to people and hopefully bring Brendan home. And so the other things that they did go through and check, there was no activity on his bank account. Since his disappearance, no bank account activity, no social media activity. They've also gone through his social media before that, and there's nothing that seems off or anything like that. So that was something else that kind of leads in different directions. No phone use since then. The phone died, and after that, nothing. They checked into his Uber, Lyft, all those things. No no Uber charges, no Lyft charges. This young man basically disappeared. He's in an area that is, yes, there's nature there, but he's disappeared, and so many people are trying to help find him. And whatever we can do at this point in helping is good, because we can help try to bring him home to his family at this point. Brendan did have that day with him. While he did not have his keys, he had the keys to his friend's car. So there was some thought, did he had taken off with that car or something? No. Again, that car was right where it was left the day before. Brendan's car was left right where it was the day before with the Halloween costume in it. So both of those things, nothing there to show. So the searches, I talked about the task force. The search has gone on. 800 civilians plus involved in this. Search has been done by foot. They've brought drones in, helicopters, boats, dive team, canine. The dive team itself has had to go through the Red Cedar River. That's the name of that river that I was showing you guys in that one. Here, let me show you guys that one again. Let's see here. So this is the river right here that we were talking about. So they have actually brought in certified divers to go through that. Hello, here she goes. And going through that area, they brought sonar in to try to see if they can see anything under the water. The water in the river was higher at that time. It has gone down, but it's still high. I think I read at some places it can go as high as 12 feet. So it's a pretty deep river in certain areas. It moves at a couple of feet, miles per hour. The mile per hour, it moves pretty quickly, okay? And when you're under the water, it looks like you can only see about 2 to 3 feet ahead of you. So the people who are in there diving and searching underwater, it's pretty daunting at this point. And that's why they brought everything in. Hey, Spooky History with Megs. Hey. And probably no singing. I wish we could do ourselves some little naughty Christmas music. You guys know me so well. And this is just going to be actually the Missing Mondays thing. I don't know. We'll find out at the end of it if anyone else is going to go live, though. I will double check that. And they've had the boats in. They've been looking at that. Still nothing, but they are continuing to search for that. The next thing, sorry, let me pull us back to the other video, picture, I mean. The family, as I had said, they're really trying to keep people from guessing and trying to think of more things that could have happened. Because as we've seen with social media and stuff like that, social media can be the key to connecting people, to bringing people home. It has done it over and over and over. It has really been a lifesaver in many situations. But it can also be one of those types of situations where people get involved and they start making calls and they start making comments to the police department and stuff like that that actually take away from the search. And that is one thing we do not want to do. And that's one reason why I don't look at all the speculation on this when we're doing these shorts like this, because I would never want to be the person who is holding the police back from doing what they need to do. Okay, if we reach the person who has a real thing, actually, okay, I just saw Late for a Date. You mentioned Adventures with Purpose. I did do some research whether or not they were involved in this. And the thing with Adventures with Purpose, if I remember what I read correctly, is they could not help in this case because they really very heavily look where there's a vehicle involved or stuff like that. But they have been contacted about this case because what they do is amazing. Adventures with Purpose is amazing. So some of the things they've said right now is that the family would love it if people who are in the area of East Lansing, if you could go back, if you have ring footage on your phone, on your doorbell, if you were out at the mall on the 29th or 30th of October, or actually, I'll be honest, I'm going to say anytime, look at your pictures. Do you see Brendan in the background? Because again, like I said, I don't want to go into speculation, but one thing I am going to throw out there, because I do think it would help if people would look at their pictures for, is what if someone was hurt and is wandering around? So that's why some people may be like, oh, well, I don't need to look because I don't have video from 2 weeks later, but they may actually have a picture of him from 2 weeks later. So please, if you're in the area of East Lansing, go through your videos, go through your pictures. Just real quickly, do you have something that looks like this young man? Did something in the back of your head pop into your mind all of a sudden now that you know this story? And if so, please let someone know so that they can follow up, because there have been a large number of leads. Unfortunately, none of the leads have really panned out per se, but they're still looking for any more that we can find at this point. Like I said, the police don't have any reason to believe there's foul play suspected in this case. You can never rule anything out, and that's the thing. But they don't, in their heart of hearts, that's not what they think we're looking at this time. So a little bit, one of the things I loved, God, I hate saying that I love something about a case, when I'm researching a case like this, but one of the things that I really appreciated, and that might be the better word here, is how much his family has shared him with us. They have created websites, they've created Facebook groups to share not the story of his disappearance, but the story of his life, who he was, what made him tick. Because those are the things that when we see these people who are missing and we see a YouTube video done, so many times we're stuck on the demographic side of things and, oh, missing demographic. This is the phone number I call, and we forget this person was a son or a daughter. This person was a mom or a dad. This person sung like Kamari last week. She would sit there and sing and dance in front of her dad. Okay, we forget those little bits. So the fact that they shared stuff like that with me while I read made such, I mean, it just really reminds us why we are watching videos like this. Okay, why we are talking about things like this. So as I mentioned before, Brendan's goal was to go into cyber surveillance. I mean, that shows to me anyone who like that, you got to be talking about someone with love for computers. Someone really, as I would say in Hawaii, Akamai, really smart, really on it when it comes to the person that I would need to call when I'm having computer problem, put it that way. And he loved hockey, as you saw playing here. And in fact, one of the things that I noticed in doing research is they did a hockey game to try to raise money for a reward. Okay. He was also into lacrosse, so very athletic, very, very athletic, which also for those of you who do look at these types of things, when you're dealing with someone who's athletic, okay, the chance that, yeah, did he fall down a ravine or something and hurt himself? Okay, things think, oh, I can do this and then get in a little bit more trouble. Those are things that we do play in our own head. One of the things that I loved hearing about with him is that he loved to cook. I mean, how many of you guys know a late teenage kid who loved to cook? Okay, the picture you're looking here. My suspicion is that was at the dorm because the comments were that he enjoyed cooking and he would cook for his dorm all the time. Okay, some of his specialties that he would make is he'd love to make spaghetti with marinara sauce, pierogies. Wouldn't mind those. Okay, I'm also hungry right now, but anyhow, chicken enchiladas. And what really kind of did it for me is, I don't know how many of you guys have ever heard of a toad in a hole. Okay, basically it's a whole thing. If I remember right, you've got eggs and bread and dough and stuff like that. It's not, okay. The fact he would make these things, okay, and share, anyone who does cooking knows cooking is a way of sharing your heart with other people. And he enjoyed doing that. His family would talk about how he was just really kind. He was one of those people who would take younger kids, younger people under his wing. And if they were having a rough time or trying to work their way through something, he kind of take them along with him and kind of help them get through the problems they were getting through in their life. This is not the story of someone who ran away, or in my personal, okay, no speculation, I know, but it does not feel like the situation of someone who just ran away. This is a kid who was very happy. He didn't show any need to have to take those types of steps. He was really happy with where he was. He was doing all the college stuff that everyone loved doing. One of the comments that I had read was that the parents of his friends, So girlfriends, boyfriends, things like that would make comments. A couple of them made comments that, you know what, I was happy that my child had a friend like Brendan. And for any parent out there, that to me is one of the biggest compliments a parent can have in the world, is to know that other parents see your child as that friend they wish their children had. Because it shows they always had their back. Hey, Tia, I'm so happy you made it too. Thank you. Thank you for coming by. And he had lots of friends in school. He wasn't a isolated person or anything like that. If you look at it, here he was on a weekend, and he goes to one college and he's spending the time to drive up to another college, hang out for the Halloween holidays, hang out for the big football game. Okay, things anyone who's involved in those types of rivalry games know what it's like, whether you go to that college or not. It's fun to go to. So he had tons of different friends that he would spend times out with, and relationships. Okay, his relationship with his own family. Hey, Rosalind, no worry, my dear. You don't need to apologize. I just love to have you here. And also, he is definitely someone that so many of his friends miss. They've all been interviewed by police. And this is one of those things kids don't think can happen. They've lost, in many cases, their best friend right now, and they want their best friend home. So we talk about this is someone's son or daughter. Well, this is someone's best friend. This is someone's boyfriend. This is someone. And you know what? It's not just a story with their height, weight, eye color, and all that stuff. There's so much more to them. There is a reward that's been pulled together. Like I said, they did have a whole thing about trying to save up money for getting the word out, putting up flyers and all that. Now, as for when he disappeared, we've got a lot of really detailed information about what he was wearing and stuff like that. So wanted to start with this. Okay, some of the things that he was wearing at the time, he was wearing a baseball hat. It was a black and red winged Easerman baseball hat, a black shirt, gray sweatpants with a zipper back pocket, and as you can see here, the tennis shoes off there, the high tops on the side. Okay, they're white. Let's see, I can speak French. I used to, at least. Comme des garçons, Converse high top shoes that have the little heart on the bottom corner of them. He also had with him a gold necklace, as you can see in the picture there. The gold necklace was of a Celtic cross. And he had his keys, and you can see a copy of what his keys look like. He also had an iPhone 12 in a blue case without a screen protector and a dark brown wallet. So a couple things to be on the lookout for if you happen to see, if you're in the area and happen to see, or okay, walk by someone and they're wearing a necklace like that or shoes like that or stuff, you can do a double quick look on them. Brendan himself, I mean, couple people on Facebook were saying, yeah, no, he was definitely one of those guys. Okay, every girl, okay, has eyes for. Okay, my brother was one of those guys too that every girl in the world would look for. And so Brendan is 18 years old. He did go missing on October 29th of this year. Okay, right around 11:45 p.m. So sometime between the 29th and 30th. He was at Michigan State University at the time. He is 5'8" tall and 160 pounds. He has brown hair, and in all the pictures I've seen, he's got the curly hair and hazel eyes. If anyone has any info, like I said, we don't want to overwhelm police departments and all that, but if you have any information, please call the police. And that's with any of these things. We hear our updates on people, and we want to make sure if anyone hears something, you call 911, or you call, in this case, if you have information on Brendan, please call the MSU Police TIpline. Their phone number is 844-996-7873. You know, I say this over and over. We do have so much every day when I go onto Facebook and I look at what's going on. Okay, one of the greatest things in the world is I see these people the day before. I'll notice someone's gone missing or something, and or even just an hour or two before someone's gone missing, and the word gets out on Facebook. People start sharing, and within a couple hours, they're found. That's the power of the internet. Tia, question, did he make it back to MSU? No, he actually disappeared. He's from a different university altogether. So he had shown up at MSU on the 29th that day, and the game was the 30th. And that's sometime the 29th at about 11:45. He was on the phone with friends saying, I'm lost. I can't find my way to this other set of dorms that he was heading to. And the next morning, okay, he stopped talking to everyone. Well, his phone had died. Most people did not realize that, though. They probably just thought he had found his way wherever he was going. And then next morning showed up. He wasn't ready. He wasn't at the dorm getting ready. He didn't have any of that stuff going on. So that's when they went ahead and called the police and got the police involved. So at that point, he's been gone since. And we're talking about an area, gosh, you're literally talking like no more than a mile or so. It's not that far. It's literally 7 to 14-minute walk. So yes, hippie, happy Helen, prayers for sure. And welcome, my dear, by the way. And yeah, prayers for him, prayers for his family. This is that time of year that we can't forget that there's always hope. And the one thing I've gotten from this family is they believe in hope. And that's hard when you're dealing with this type of news day in and day out. When you wake up and go into the kitchen or you're waiting late at night for that good night call from your child. It's hard when you're not getting those things. But this family has hope. And we're here to help support them, whether it's through getting screenshots out, getting the videos out, or just adding them to our prayer list. That's how we help each other. We may not be able to be there to do the searches, but we can do that. So for all of you, I really, truly want to thank all of you for just every week joining in with this. Late for a date. Oh yeah, sorry. And yeah, any questions, add them into chat because I definitely would. In fact, at sometime maybe we'll in the future open up chats at the end. So if people want to ask questions or come up, we can talk about it. Rough terrain where he was last seen. It does not look like a really bad neighborhood. It looks like a normal college neighborhood to me. So not like a bad neighborhood or anything like that. It does have rough terrain. Again, for those of you who came in a few minutes late, let's see if I can find the picture. Here we go. This is probably where part of the concern is coming from. This is along the area of where he was walking that night. Okay, basically coming from where Yackley Hall is on the right-hand side of the screen towards Brody Hall on the left-hand side of the screen. Where he was last pinged was the red circle. I agree that girl, he is a good-looking kid. I really hope they do find him. We don't know. It could be anything from he fell down. Okay, and that's my hope and prayer. Maybe he fell down and has short-term amnesia or something like that at this point. I choose hope. I will always choose hope until I hear something different. And so there is definitely this area you can see here right south of that blue line. You've got a river that's coming through that whole area. I have not heard anything about weather that night. I haven't heard anything about rain or anything. So my suspicion is it was not bad. The pictures since then definitely look cold. Tia, you know this area. Okay. This is on the university, MSU campus area. He was coming. That's why I'm saying it's not like it's a dangerous area he's going through. It's not that far of a walk. Okay. It's just something happened. He was lost. He did say he was lost. Yeah, definitely, Tia. I would love to hear more from you. I am thinking about going back on some of these cases I've been talking about that have gone on for a while to give people updates. And I would love to talk about those updates. I know there's a couple people, Monkey, I wanted to update people on. Some other ones that I just really would like to give everyone updates from. So, okay, late for date, you're at 2 hours. Yes, definitely. If anyone can just share this stuff out, because these are, again, like I said, you go to college thinking you're going to be safe. You think you're going there and you're having fun and just running around, just not thinking about that you may disappear overnight. And it happens more often than we care to say. So, oh, Tia, your mom went to MSU. Okay, see, you go. And Tia, just as I'm not sure, I can't remember when exactly you came in. This happened the weekend of the Michigan game. Okay, MSU and the University of Michigan game. So on the 29th. So his family is not going to give up. They are not going to give up. The community, which I love, is not going to give up. They're going to stick with this as long as they have to. They are going to bring him home. Okay, he will. Okay, they're not going to give up. I don't know, Tia, if you could answer that question, if there's any deep woods nearby. Not sure if any, you might know that. I've been looking at this. There's a lot of greenery in this one picture. Let me pull this up a little bit more. You guys can kind of see there's definitely a lot, but there's also buildings in these areas. So yeah, Tia, it's when you see something that happens in an area, that's kind of the situation that happened with me when I had our little girl across the mountain from me, literally 15-minute drive, 20-minute max. It hits you in a different way, because so many times for all of us when we do these videos, it's just the name of someone. It's a Summer Wells. It's a Gabby. They're names. No, they're not names. These are real people. And there's hundreds and thousands of other ones out there who need to have their story told. How many of us have heard of this? Let me ask this. Those of you in chat right now, okay, put a 1 in chat if you have not heard about this case. Put a 2 in chat if you've heard about this case. And I got to remember to give you guys time to type, because I always forget that. Yeah, it looks like a lot of green area. And that river is what really kind of scares a lot of people. There, we're starting to get the number 1s. And when you pull into the fact that this happened on October 29th, we're almost at 2 months. People outside of that town do not know anything about this case. And that's the whole reason for us doing these things, because who knows, like I said, who knows if you're dealing with someone who hurts themselves and has amnesia, is walking around, they could be in a totally different state. One of the things this family is trying to do right now is get the missing poster posted in every single one of the 50 states. So I will go into my Discord and I will post that poster. Let me actually give you guys the link so you guys can come join us in Discord. And if you can download it and print it out and just post it and let everyone know what about it, because they'd like to get this out for as many people as possible to know about. Thank you, Tia, for sharing that, because it's a big help. I look at all the runaways. For years, we think, oh, a runaway, they made the decision when they run away. Well, guess what? 80% of runaways find themselves in deep danger, whether it's trafficking, sex trade, okay, doing things they never wanted to do just to survive. And their families worry about them day in, day out. So it's something we need to, as a community, as a society, come together and remember there's so many people out there who need us to be their voice. We may not be able to be on the ground, walking and searching and doing stuff like that, but you know what? We can do other things. And that's all we can try to do, is do that. 18 is a baby. 18 is so young. He's a freshman in college. And, but you know what? He has that future, and we need to get him home where he can continue that future. And also, if you could please, one of the reasons why I create these little things here, okay, on the screen is so you can do a quick screenshot and just clip that one piece out and share it out. Okay, it has nothing to do with sharing the channel or anything. It's just that one thing right there, that picture and that information and phone number. Whatever you can do to share that with people. This is the season for miracles. I believe in miracles. I believe in prayer. I believe in the power of positive thought. Please put all of that towards him and his family right now. And I do want to say thank you all so much. If anyone knows of any other cases, I know there's so many out there, but if there's one that has kind of you feel needs to get the story told, please let me know. Please email me at TheLokomaiLife@gmail.com so that I can look at doing that coverage for next week. And you're welcome, late for a date. You're welcome. It's just so many times we feel like we can't do anything because we're just sitting from another state, but we can. We all can. So thank all of you guys so much. You guys are the bomb. I really appreciate everything you guys do. And I will be seeing you guys next week. I will not be seeing you guys before Christmas. So have a wonderful, blessed Christmas. Okay, here's to a most amazing one with just wonderful time with your family and memories that you will have forever and ever and just hold close to. These are the times that we hold them close to our hearts. So love all you guys, and I will talk to you soon. Love y'all. Aloha. Bye-bye.